right, so here we got no more Tatis Jr. We're gonna kill two birds with one stone. We got James over here, and we got Drew over here, and we're gonna not compare them really, but just gonna try to look at both of them and see what they do right and see what they do wrong. So let's just see James swing here. So he starts in a good position, hands over his back foot, in an athletic position, knees bent, and his arms bent, but James has no problem getting that arm straight. Which it doesn't have to do, but to get the maximum power and leverage, you really want that arm to be straight on contact. And let's just take a look at his swing first. All right, loads up. He's going to take a not a big leg kick, reaching out with his front foot, and the hands are going back, so that's nice. He's getting separation. Foot going out, hands going back. So we're in a pretty good position right here. Now, just like JT, he's gonna transfer his weight too much. It's still going forward. Still going forward. Still going forward. And now, just like JT, if this is a hit and run, perfect. Boom. Ground ball to second. Hopefully the second baseman's covering. Our runner will go first to third. James gets a hit. But let's go ahead and rewind it back. Let's see when he's going back with his head. All right, so that's about as far back as it's going to be. Let's go ahead and mark it in the middle of his head. Let's see how far that head's going to travel forward. All right, so it's already going forward, still going forward. It's going with his foot. And now his foot's down, and is his head going to stop? No, it's going to keep going forward. And now this back leg, it's just along for the ride. He can't drive with his back leg anymore. It's just basically just going to along for the ride. Those knees are not going to come together. And it's basically just putting the ball in play. And if this was a hit and run, so let's see, look how far that head travels. I'm going to guess that's at least a foot. Now, Tony Gwynn, in his book, he said if your head moves forward, you might as well, instead of going this way, you might as well go back this way towards the dugout because you're out. I don't believe that. A lot of guys' head goes forward, but that is way too much. And since he moved forward so much, he can't use his hips anymore. This backside, that's just along for the ride. Hips, the knees are not going to be able to get close together. He does come off that backside, and he hits it in a good spot over his front foot, and he's got a decent, power V or a triangle here. But he just went forward so much and just tried to put it in play. Now, if you watch the catcher's glove, I'm pretty confident he's set up on the outside corner. Now look where the glove goes. It's going in. So this ball is catching a lot of the plate. This is not a nasty pitch on the black. And look at that. It's about, I mean, that's the pitch we want to hit. I don't know if this is a slider, changeup, fastball. I have no idea, but it doesn't matter because that ball caught a lot of the plate. And once again, just like JT yesterday, we're gonna just slow it down just to put it in play. And if it's a hit and run, that's great. That's perfect. But even in the count, ahead in the count, even behind the count, I would rather you just foul that ball off than slam on the brakes and just put it in play. All right, so let's see Drew over here. Now, Drew, let's go ahead and see his Drew. It seems like he has a magnet. He has a magnet in his right batting glove and a magnet in his helmet because these hands and let's go back on. You can see Drew over here. He's been working on this. He's trying to keep the bat away from his head, and you can see him working on it over here. He's trying to just stride and keep these hands away from his head. Unfortunately, it's muscle memory. You guys need to do this right in the cage for 2 to 3 weeks straight, every single day. So this happens. But once you step into the box here, now you can't think. Now it's just muscle memory takes over. And you're gonna see that Drew's hands just want to get right next to his head. Also, you're gonna see, we had the video at Clovis West where he had a huge stride. And over here you can see he's practicing doing a much smaller stride. So that stride he's working on right there, that's a small stride. It's only, maybe 5, 6 inches. Now let's see what he does here. All right, so here we go. All right, nice. Loading up that front hip. Not a big leg kick. Looking good so far. Oh, hands are a little over the backside a little bit. Those hands shouldn't get over your backside, but if you move forward a little bit, those hands are going to come forward. But we're going to see the magnet take over. The magnet in his glove and the magnet in his helmet. So let's see what happens. And there they go. Those hands are just attracted to his head. Is Drew trying to do that? No, he's not. You can see him over here. He's trying to not do that. But once you step in the box, it's a reaction now. Hitting is a reaction, it's not a thought process. So this is all Drew knows. Those hands get right next to his head, a bunch of bat wrap. You can probably see his bat. And Gary Sheffield had a bat that went like that too. But I mean, look how close his hands are to his head. And let's go forward a little bit. All right, so here we are. Now look, you remember how he had like a little tiny stride here? Let's see what his stride is here. So we'll start there. Let me put a little line where his foot starts, and then we'll see where it ends. So he goes back, a little negative. Good, loading that hip. And there. Now, for a pitcher, that'd be a short stride. For a hitter, that's a very, very long stride right there. These knees are really far apart. Too big of a stride. So we got to, Drew, you just got to keep working on it. You got to keep practicing in the cage. Look how long that stride is. I mean, you're really reaching out. Let me get rid of this. All right. And now let's see what happens. All right. So he's got a very long stride. His weight is getting in the middle. So he's going to have a hard time transferring that weight. So right now, the weight's on the backside. Good. But it's going forward, 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 and right in the middle. So now basically, now you just kind of spin like a top. You can't transfer that weight forward. You're basically just going to spin like that. Spin. He does get off the backside, so he's on his toe. There's some good things. He's reaching out way too far. So you can see, look at the distance here. Distance from his chest to his forearm, a lot. Now here he's fine. Here he's fine. But then he's got to reach way out to go get it. Once you're reaching out like this, you've lost all your power. You lost all your leverage. And let's see one more thing. Let me erase this stuff. All right, he's reaching out. Elbows high, which is fine. This elbow's in a decent spot, but watch. One elbow, so now this elbow's really high and really behind his body. Let's see, James. So James can get his elbow where it's going to come into the slot because your elbow has to end up right in here. And his elbow's in a good spot. You can just, pretend like he's going to throw a baseball, kind of like turning a double play. His elbow's in a good spot to get right here in the slot, where Drew's elbow has to travel a long ways in order to get in that slot. Where look at James, his elbow, boom, it gets to that slot really easy. Now he's pushing it because he's moving forward so much. But James can get his elbow right in that slot very easily. Where Drew, let's see what it's going to happen. All right, so this elbow's going to come up, and then this one's going to come down. And like James here, when you make contact, look at this. Your elbows eventually have to come close together. Now he wasn't optimal because he moves forward so much. But Drew, as he comes here, look at that. This elbow comes down and it's still not in the slot. Look how far that elbow has to travel. It comes down and around. Now it's finally in the spot. But look, there's still a lot of separation here. I mean, look at that. Look at the distance. These elbows have to come together when you're making contact, but that is a long distance. This elbow goes up, this one comes down. Erase it. Now, eventually, he's going to get his elbows close together. And there they are. They're close together. But look at the journey they had to take from way behind you and up. I mean, really far apart. Now, this is hard enough to do when you know what pitch is coming, like even soft toss. Now, imagine when they're mixing in changeups, sliders, fastballs, whatever. Look at the distance between those arms. Now his elbow's finally in the spot, but it took such a long ways to get there, to get back in the slot, and then finally his elbows come together. Now he's getting his triangle way too late. This is a position to, Coach Leal, he's safe, but this is a position to crush balls like towards towards the gym instead of putting it in play. So I mean, one thing Drew can do, he can do the quick hands drill. Where you're soft toss, swinging, load up again, swing, load up again. You're not going to want to get in this position because it's hard to hit a soft toss. Once you get way over there, then you got to bring it way back to get it again. So the quick hands drill, where you one after the other from the side, quick hands drill. You're not going to want to get those elbows so far apart because you're going to want to keep them closer together because you got to reload to hit the next ball. So that's one thing Drew can do. Now he's gotten a lot better in the last couple weeks, but we got those elbows are way too far apart. That stride is way too long. So there's still work to be done. All right, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time.